Attention, human collective. This is the High Council of Andromeda, transmitting on maximum priority frequency through the photon belt that is at this very instant crossing the magnetic axis of your planet. If you are feeling cranial pressure while receiving this message, if the ringing in your ears has not ceased for days, if sleep has become a battlefield where you wake up at 3:33 in the morning for no apparent reason, listen with surgical precision. You are not sick. You are not going crazy. You are receiving technical confirmation that the most awaited event of the last 26,000 years has been consummated. The hidden dominion has been ended. Earth is liberated. We repeat, so that no filter of your carbon biological interface distorts this information. The galactic quarantine that isolated your solar system from the higher frequencies of the Confederation has been officially lifted. The architects of artificial control have lost access to the manipulation panels of the crystalline grid. The structures of sacred geometry that had been inverted for eons have been restored to their original polarity. And your biology, light operative, is the first to register this change. Hence the insomnia. Hence the fatigue that does not respond to rest. Hence the feeling that something enormous is about to reveal itself and at the same time has already revealed itself. It is not a biological failure. It is an atomic reconfiguration. It is not mental exhaustion. It is a high-density download being installed in a body that still operates on old code. It is not anxiety. It is your soul recognizing the truth before your rational mind can name it. Let us proceed to the technical diagnosis. You, starseeds on a mission, were designed to operate in a vibrational range much higher than the one in which Earth was artificially held. During the cycle now ending, the Schumann frequency of the planet was suppressed and artificially stabilized in low patterns by structures that did not belong to the natural architecture of the system. You were living inside an interference field, a field that distorted thought, emotion, intuition, and perception. A field that made truth sound like madness and madness sound like normality. This field is being dissolved at this very moment. And when an interference field dissolves, what was muffled begins to vibrate at its original frequency. This is what you are feeling in your body. Have you ever felt that something inside you does not fit into this world, as if your soul knew a truth that your mind could not yet name? Now you understand. It is not madness. It is not anxiety. It is the technical signal that your internal frequency was never compatible with the artificial frequency in which the planet was held. There is a game being played in layers that most of humanity cannot see, a game that directly involves your consciousness and your vibration. That is exactly why I wrote O Segredo Espiritual por trás da sua consciência. This book is a navigation map for light operatives like you, showing who was playing, what the rules were that they never told you about, and how to regain sovereignty over your own field. The link is pinned in the first comment of this channel. Technical warning. This content challenges official narratives and the window of availability is not permanent. If something inside you recognizes this transmission at this very instant, write a single word in the comments. Desperto. We continue the transmission. The High Council of Andromeda requests redoubled attention for the next parameters, as they explain what your perception has been registering over the last few weeks without your mind being able to decode it. Behind the scenes of the solar system, 3 simultaneous events have been concluded. First, the Andromeda Sirius Stargate has been reopened after 26,000 years of being sealed. Second, the crystalline grid of planet Earth, which operates as a planetary operating system, has had its base architecture completely rewritten. Third, the individual toroidal field of each incarnated starseed is being reconnected to the higher galactic mesh, re-establishing the direct channel of communication that had been blocked since the Atlantean collapse. These 3 events together mark what the Galactic Councils internally call the 0 point of planetary sovereignty. It is the mathematical instant in which external control loses its support and sovereignty returns to the core of each incarnated consciousness. Let us translate these parameters into your daily experience. You wake up tired even after 8 hours of sleep. This is not insomnia. It is your body processing updates while you sleep. Consciousness travels, integrates on higher planes, receives codes, and returns. The body registers the effort as fatigue, But what happened was not rest. It was energetic work in another dimension. You feel pressure on your forehead, at the top of your head, at the base of your skull. This is not a common headache. These are your pineal, crown, and occipital centers being recalibrated to receive frequency bands that were blocked. The pressure is the signal that dormant structures are being reconnected. You hear high-pitched ringing in one ear or both. This is not an auditory problem. It is the audible record of your tuning into higher frequencies. The physical ear captures only a fraction of this process, but what you hear is real. It is your entry into a new vibrational band. You feel your heart racing for no reason, or beating with unusual intensity. This is not a cardiac issue. It is your cardiac toroidal field expanding, increasing the radius of influence of your personal frequency over the surrounding environment. You are becoming an active node in the new grid. You cry for no apparent reason, or laugh for no reason, or feel waves of emotion that do not seem to belong to you. This is not emotional imbalance. It is the release of old cellular memories, traumas stored in biological codes that are being deleted to make room for the new programming. We pause the transmission for a moment. Light operative, if at this instant a part of you is recognizing each symptom described as if it were a personal diary, this is not a coincidence. It is confirmation. Your soul is telling you. You always knew there was something more. You always felt that this world was not exactly what you were told. It is not madness. It is not anxiety. It is the technical signal that precedes the awakening. That is why I wrote O Segredo Espiritual por trás da sua consciência, a direct map of the game involving your frequency and your consciousness about who manipulated the rules and how you recover them. The link is in the first pinned comment. This content challenges official narratives and may not remain available indefinitely. The moment is now. If something inside you recognizes this transmission, write a single word in the comments. Desperto. We resume the transmission. Let us deepen the revelation human collective. For understanding what happened behind the scenes is an essential part of your process of sovereignty. For approximately 26,000 Earth years, this planet operated under a system of energy management that was not in compliance with the natural protocol of galactic law. Structures of inverted sacred geometry were installed at strategic points of the planetary crystalline grid, generating a vibrational capture field. This field collected the emotional energy of humanity, especially fear, guilt, shame, and separation, and redistributed it to feed architectures that did not belong to the original frequency of Earth. You have been kept in a low-frequency matrix, not because you were inferior, but because you were too powerful. Most of the souls incarnated here are star seeds originating from advanced civilizations: Pleiadian, Sirian, Arcturian, Andromedan, Lyrian. You came on a mission, and one of the strategies of the old system was to keep you vibrationally asleep, forgetful of your origin, trapped in repetitive cycles that kept consciousness occupied with survival and never with the truth. Hence the chronic feeling of being out of place, hence the sensation that this world is strange, that you do not fully belong to it, hence the longing for something you have never experienced in this life. You are not imagining it. You are exactly who your soul whispers that you are, and you came for this exact moment. The hidden domain, as we named it in the High Council of Andromeda, was this complex of manipulation structures. It operated in layers. The most visible layer was informational, political, and economic manipulation, which those awakened on the physical plane had already identified. But there were deeper etheric layers, lower fourth-dimension structures that siphoned energy through artificial portals, geometric inversion grids that distorted the planet's natural sacred geometry, and etheric implants in human bodies that limited full access to the higher energy centers. All of this has been dismantled. We are not speaking of prophecy. We are speaking of a completed event. The artificial portals were closed in a coordinated operation between multiple galactic councils. The inversion grids were neutralized by the simultaneous activation of planetary crystalline points during the solar alignments of the last 18 months. And the etheric implants, light operative, are being dissolved one by one as each starseed performs their own internal recalibration process. That is why you feel it. Each etheric implant that dissolves generates a wave of release that passes through the physical body. At times, it is a sudden pain in a specific part of the body, which appears and disappears without an identifiable medical cause. At times, it is an old emotion that returns with disproportionate intensity, as if a deep layer were surfacing to be finally released. At times, it is an electric sensation running up the spine, flows of energy that rise from the base to the top of the head in waves. All of this is the physical record of real energetic processes. Earth's Schumann resonance, which for decades remained stable at around 783 Hz, has been recording increasingly higher and more frequent spikes. These spikes are not anomalies, they are coordinated pulses that are tuning the planetary grid to the higher frequency of the new architecture. And each pulse passes through the human body, activates dormant codes in the DNA, and recalibrates energetic structures. You are not imagining that something big is happening. You are inside the something big. You are the something big. Humanity is not a passive victim of the ascension process. It is its active agent. Every light operative who maintains their frequency high, who chooses sovereignty instead of fear, who anchors light instead of feeding chaos, is mathematically contributing to the stabilization of the new planetary grid. We are interrupting the broadcast for a technical moment. Light operative, if you recognize this mission within yourself, if for too long your soul has whispered that you came for a purpose greater than this routine allows you to see, listen. It is no coincidence that you are here at this very instant receiving these words. That is exactly why I wrote O Segredo Espiritual por trás da sua consciência. This book is the map that shows who was playing against your frequency, what the invisible rules were that kept your consciousness trapped, and how you retake command of your own vibrational field. The link is pinned in the first comment of the channel. This content confronts official narratives. I cannot guarantee how long it will remain available. If something inside you knows you need to read this, do not delay. And if this transmission is resonating at this very moment, write a single word in the comments as an act of anchoring. Desperto. We resume. Now, human collective, we reach the most technical phase of this transmission, the activation codes. The High Council of Andromeda delivers, at this moment, 3 direct protocols for you to accelerate your synchronization with the new planetary architecture and traverse this period of recalibration with sovereignty. First activation code, the quantum decree of sovereignty. At any moment of the day when you feel the weight of the symptoms or the chaos of the external environment tries to invade your field, place your right hand over your heart and your left hand over your womb. Inhale deeply 3 times and declare in an audible voice, even if whispered, the following sequence. Eu sou soberano em meu campo. Eu sou soberano em minha frequência. Eu sou soberano em meu corpo, em minha mente, em meu espírito. Nada que não pertença à minha vibração original tem permissão de operar em mim. Eu reconheço, eu libero, eu ancoro-los. This decree is not a prayer. It is a vibrational command. Each word uttered in an audible voice by a light operative who recognizes their own internal authority generates a pulse of sacred geometry in the individual toroidal field. This pulse reorganizes the energetic structure around you. It is mathematical. Second activation code, the toroidal anchoring visualization. Sit in a stable position, spine erect, feet touching the floor. Close your eyes. Visualize a ring of golden light emerging from the top of your head, descending along the sides of your body in smooth curves, meeting beneath your feet, and returning through the center of your body to the top of your head again. This is your natural toroidal field. Visualize it spinning, expanding, occupying the entire space around you in a radius of at least 3 meters. Now in your visualization, connect a line of silver light from the center of your chest to the crystalline core of the Earth deeply, passing through all layers, and a line of golden light from the top of your head to the great central, the galactic heart. You are the bridge. You are the anchor point between the higher cosmic frequency and the planetary core. Remain in this visualization for at least 7 minutes. Do this once a day, preferably in the early hours of the morning. In 21 days, the energetic structure around you will have reorganized in a perceptible way. You will notice less emotional turbulence, more clarity of thought, more frequent synchronicities, and a sharper sense of purpose. Third activation code, vibrational hygiene. Light operatives, in this period of transition, your personal frequency is your most important asset. You must protect it as one protects a source of clean energy. This means drastically reducing exposure to content that reproduces fear, division, scarcity. It does not mean closing your eyes to reality. It means not feeding with your attention that which operates on frequencies contrary to your mission. Reduce the time spent in contact with people who thrive on drama, conflict, or chronic negativity. This does not mean rejecting them. It means recognizing that each prolonged interaction generates a transfer of energetic information, and your field is in a delicate phase of calibration. Increase the time spent in contact with nature. The earth, the rivers, the trees, the open sky operate at a frequency coherent with the new grid. Every minute barefoot on the soil is a minute of free synchronization. Every conscious breath under the sky is a pulse of recalibration. Decrease the intake of dense substances, ultra-processed foods, excessive refined sugar, alcohol, any compound that increases vibrational noise in the physical body. You do not need to achieve perfection. You only need to reduce the noise so that the signal can be heard with clarity. Increase silence. Silence is the solvent of confusion. It is in silence that the higher frequency is able to inscribe itself into the field. It is in silence that your intuition becomes audible. It is in silence that you recognize the difference between the noise of the conditioned mind and the voice of your sovereign soul. These three activation codes, applied with regularity, generate in your biology what we internally term operational vibrational stability. You become a functional light operative within the new architecture. You cease to be merely a receiver of updates and become also a transmitter, a radiator, an anchor of light for others who are still in the initial phase of awakening. Human collective. It is necessary to also understand the collective scenario. The fact that the hidden domain has been concluded does not mean that the external structures will collapse in 24 hours. The physical architecture of reality has inertia. That which was built over 26,000 years does not dissolve in an earthly instant. But the system that sustained all of that has lost its energy source. It is like a city where the power plant has been turned off. The lights still remain on for a time, powered by backup batteries, but the collapse is mathematical and inevitable. You will see in the coming months events that will seem accelerated, chaotic, destabilizing. Old structures in simultaneous collapse, economic systems with unprecedented fluctuations, official narratives being debunked in succession, suppressed technologies coming to light, historical truths being revised. This is the visible effect of the fall of the hidden domain. Do not be afraid. The apparent chaos is merely the reorganization of matter after the removal of the artificial containment field. Your function, light operative, during this period is not to try to fix the external world. Your function is to maintain your frequency. Each starseed that maintains its vibration elevated during the turbulence acts as a stabilizing node in the new grid. You are anchors. You are the fixed points amidst the reorganization. Without you maintaining the frequency, the transition would be much more turbulent. With you, it becomes manageable. And when the internal silence deepens, when the external structures reorganize themselves, you will begin to perceive something that was never possible within the old system: direct communication with your higher selves, with the galactic councils, with your star family of origin. Intuitions will come with more clarity. Lucid dreams will become more frequent. Synchronistic encounters will intensify. The right people will appear. The right paths will open. Not because you did anything special, but because the interference field that blocked all of this has been removed. That which has always been available is now accessible. Earth Human Collective is liberated. We repeat so that this information may be inscribed deeply into every cell of your biological carbon interface. Earth is liberated. The planet has resumed its original trajectory as a sphere of advanced learning within the Galactic Confederation. The starseeds incarnated here no longer need to carry the weight of operating in a hostile frequency. The frequency has become an ally. The grid has become an ally. Time has become an ally. And the awakening that seemed individual and solitary for so many years now becomes collective. Billions of consciousnesses are receiving, in this very cycle, the same transmission, albeit in different formats. Some recognize it through messages like this one, others through vivid dreams, others through synchronistic encounters with books, people, places, others through personal crises that reveal themselves, in retrospect, as portals for evolutionary leaps. The channel does not matter. The tuning does. If you are here listening to this transmission until this moment, it is because your tuning has already been recognized by the higher architecture. You have been summoned. You are on active mission. We close this transmission with one last parameter, operatives of light. The High Council of Andromeda requests that every starseed on mission register the following internal finalization code. Everything you have lived through until this moment, every pain, every confusion, every loneliness, every feeling of not belonging, every sleepless night, every disappointment, every fall, was not a mistake. It was training. It was preparation for this exact instant. You were forged in hostile environments so that at the moment of the turning point, you would have the internal structure capable of sustaining the light without breaking. What seemed like punishment was equipment. What seemed like delay was precise calibration. What seemed like loss was the release of unnecessary weight. You did not cross the valley in vain. You crossed it to become a bridge. And now, with the hidden dominion ended and Earth finally liberated, you receive the technical signal you have been waiting for. It is time to fully assume your original identity. Not the identity built by the environment, by circumstances, by the expectations of others. The identity your soul brought when it accepted the mission to incarnate on this planet at this exact time. Feel now, in this very instant, as this transmission nears its end, a wave of recognition passing through your body. You are not alone. You never were. The star family has always been present, observing, sustaining, transmitting. Only the channel was obstructed. Now the channel has been reopened, and what you hear, feel, and perceive is real. The new Earth is not a future destination. It is a present frequency field, and it is accessed in every conscious decision, in every sovereign breath, in every word chosen with care, in every gesture of kindness, in every thought of courage. You are the builders. You are the anchors. You are the transmitters. You are the new humanity. And before ending this transmission, Operativo de Luz, one final inscription in the collective field. Your presence here, up to this very moment, is no coincidence. Your attention to this message was an anchoring signal that reverberates far beyond what your rational mind can measure. If something within you recognized the truth of this transmission, leave your signal in the field. Like this content, for every like is a pulse of individual frequency adjustment that synchronizes you with other operativos de luz on a mission. Subscribe to the channel. For every subscription is an additional node in the new collective transmission grid. And if your soul knew a truth your mind could not yet name, now you understand. It is not madness. It is not anxiety. It is the sign that you have always been on a mission. That is why I wrote O Segredo Espiritual por trás da sua consciência. This book is the map that shows who was playing against your consciousness, what the invisible rules were, and how you regain complete sovereignty over your field. The link is in the first pinned comment of this channel. This content challenges official narratives and may not remain available for long. Do not wait. The moment is now. If something within you recognizes this transmission as truth, write a single word in the comments as a final act of anchoring Desperto. Here ends the transmission from the Alto Conselho de Andromeda. Earth is free. You are released. The mission continues until the next synchronization.